In a very impressive display, Charlo managed to score a fifth round knockout over Julian Williams to defend his IBF Super Welterweight Championship, light middleweight, 154 pounds. Charlo did really good. I did think that Julian Williams was actually ahead in the fight going into the fifth round. And that's including, a knockdown that he suffered in the second round as well. Jermall dropping him with just a clean jab. Williams walked right into it, went back, and was pretty hurt by it. I mean, it's like he just didn't expect it coming. And Jermall Charlo showed that power, that patented power that we've known him to show by and large in the last couple of years as he's kind of risen up to the championship level. And here against Julian Williams, a guy that was a pretty highly touted, undefeated prospect going in, the undefeated contender. He went in there and he did the job. Like I said, I thought Williams was up in the fight just before the fifth round. That was not necessarily a knock on Charlo though. Both of them were showing really high skill stuff in there, showing a pretty fair defense on both sides, but very very good offense on both sides. I mean, both of them were definitely able to bust through each other's defensive movements and maneuvers and their constructs in how they were holding their guards and everything. And I mean, but just an impressive amount of punch variety from both of them. The difference really just seemed to be the power. Williams, when he was catching Charlo was able to pretty much eat the punch, take the punch, and keep on throwing for the most part. And there was maybe only one or two times where Williams managed to land a clean shot on Charlo, and Charlo didn't have an immediate answer back. So it looked like he might have momentarily gave him just a quick shake. But overall, Charlo was able to shake it off and come through and just that brutal uppercut, that right uppercut that landed in the fifth round was just nasty. Just that I was actually surprised that Williams even got up from that. Just the way he fell, he fell pretty much face first. Managed to kind of catch himself though. He broke his fall with his arms, with his forearms. But just when you fall face first like that, and just the little like wiggle he did, the shake he did in both of his legs all the way up through his torso and his head, he went down hard. That was a clean shot that he took. Clean, nasty right uppercut. Managed to get up from him, of course, but Charlo managed to finish him off in the flurry, in the follow-up flurry. Williams' legs were just not under him. You could see that even after the ref stopped it, his legs still weren't under him. It took him a few minutes to really get his equilibrium back in entirety, really. So Charlo comes through with just a nasty knockout. Definitely the best performance of his career so far. Over really, potentially one of the better opponents of his career. And of course, he was coming off that tough, close victory over Austin Trout. Some people actually even had Trout winning that fight. Matter of fact, I think I had Trout winning that fight, or I had it a draw or something like that. But it was a close fight. They did say that he was having eye problems though. Of course, he wound up getting LASIK surgery to correct, I guess, a retina issue that he had been having. And I think that actually that might have made a difference. He looked sharper, more accurate, and just more viable in this fight than I've really seen him in the past. Before, it seemed like, he was just a power puncher. He wasn't necessarily really looking to put everything together, string together good combinations and set up that power, but he was just kind of throwing it. And like his setup, the way he just looked sharper, the way he was able to set up that power just looked way sharper in this fight than it has in the past. And, in the past, I thought, in comparison to this fight, he looked, comparably sloppy, really. Like he just, he looked like a little bit over reliant on his power, overly reliant on the fact that he's a very big, strong guy for the weight class. But here, I mean, it just looked like he was too much of everything for Williams, really. Just too big, too strong, too powerful, and also had the skills to match Williams. And so, when the skills matched up, that power is what wound up shining through and got him the victory. So big win for Charlo. Not sure exactly what's going to be in his near future, of course. Williams was, of course, his Mando. You had Demetrius Andrade ringside, of course. He's looking to try and get that fight. Charlo also hinted at potentially moving up to 160. That's a possibility still. Of course, he's said in the past that he has some issues making the weight, so he may move up to 160 and try to get some things done there. Also, of course, called out Saul Canelo Alvarez. Him and his brother actually calling out Alvarez after the fight. Definitely very hyped about the whole situation. I think any of those fights are fantastic. These are the fights that we've been kind of clamoring for about the last year plus. Him versus Golovkin, him versus Alvarez, him versus Andrade. I mean, hell, even if you moved up to 160, fought somebody like Billy Joe Saunders, I don't think that would be a terrible fight at all. Champions versus champions is the type of fights that we like to see. Golovkin, of course, is in the negotiations right now with Jacobs. So if they were able to get that done, him versus the winner of that fight, fantastic fight. You can't ask for much more hype and just much more fanfare than a fight like that. But Charlo just came through with a vicious victory. Very, very impressive. And I'm definitely looking forward to see what he's going to do next. He's looked better than I've ever seen him in the past. So I think if he looks that good, he's definitely very much a live fighter against even the very top guys that I already mentioned. So very much props to Charlo. As for Williams, it's going to be tough to come back from this loss. But you always got to try to do your best in order to come back from those. So we'll see what incidentally happens with Williams in the near future. Hopefully we see him in another fight against a top level 154 pounder. Maybe like an Erickson Lubin in the future or somebody. Although he might be a little bit too soon for somebody like Lubin. Maybe Tony Harrison, maybe somebody like that, somebody on that level. In the near future, Jarrett Hurd also, like somebody like that, I think might be, good potential matchups really at 154 pounds, even for the guys that are still like fringe level, or barely kind of breaking through into the top prospect contender level. So good one for Charlo. Tough break for Williams, but I'm sure he'll come back. He's a very skilled fighter, and I thought he was pretty impressive as well. He was able to kind of hang in there at the very least technically with a guy like Charlo, who's a top level operator. So that's all I got to say on this one, and I'll catch you guys next. Peace.